Today's Broncos Breakdown is presented to you by Aura, an all-in-one digital safety company that keeps your wallet and your identity secure online. I can't wait to tell you more about them later on in the show, but start your free trial today at aura.com/chatsports. Today's show is all about free agency. Dog days of the offseason, things are cooling off for a little bit, so I thought it'd be a little fun to look at some free agents out there that could start for the Broncos today. Meaning if they were picked up, they could be an impact star, well, make a good case to be a starter on the current depth chart. Before we look at any names, though, if you are ready for the weekend, because I am very ready for the weekend, I got the day off on Monday, get to go home, see my family. So if you are ready for the weekend and your mountains are blue like mine, cheers to you. Let's dive into the show by hitting that thumbs up icon. First guy up, Cam Newton. Do not throw anything at your screen right now. Don't exit out of the video. Just hear me out for a quick second. Okay, that's all I'm going to ask for. Starting backup quarterback, right? He would be the starting backup. And that's not really a thing, but I'm going to invent it anyway because I don't have a ton of faith in the current QB room after Russell Wilson. And it's Russell Wilson, so, you could be the backup quarterback. And up until last year, that was fine because all you would have done was hold the clipboard. But I don't really ever want to know what it would be like if Josh Johnson Brett Rippon had to play a couple games for Russ if it ever got to that point. Knock on wood, pray that it never happens. But you have to admit, Cam Newton and Russell Wilson on the field together for some red zone packages would be pretty fun. Not that Russell Wilson can't handle the red zone on his own, right? This isn't Derek Carr and Marcus Mariota and, some exotic and fun different play styles because Russ needs a little help getting close to the end zone. No, but it is Cam Newton. And also, it would be like the final piece of the puzzle if you had Russell Wilson and Cam Newton, the two quarterbacks the Broncos played in the Super Bowl most recently, on the same roster together. Now, Cam is bad, right? We all know this. He's not what he used to be. And that's what happens when you use your body as a bowling ball in the NFL and run through players. After time, the injuries, the bruises, the black and blues, they're going to add up. So what he did for Carolina last year, he had a good start. Remember the Cardinals game? His first two plays, he scored 2 touchdowns, and then it went downhill after that. And he was bad, in my opinion, on the Patriots as well. But would you sign Cam Newton to be the backup, to be the starting backup quarterback, be the Alex Moran of this team? He's not going to be the starter, right? I'm not talking about Russell Wilson's job. That's not up for discussion here. But to be the starting backup, we're going to invent a new starter. He gets to be the best the best clipboard holder. And I don't know, maybe could you imagine if it was like Russ and Cam on the field together? Could be pretty fun. Just saying. Could be fun. Y for yes, N for no. Next target is Eric Fisher. This is a guy we've talked about before. And we have to make some leaps and bounds and some stretches to make it make sense. And we'll talk more about Eric Fisher in just a second. But I want to tell everyone about our proud sponsor today, Aura. Because listen, guys, we do more online than ever before. I've said it before, but I think it's a very important message to get across. You lock your door when you leave your apartment or your house to go to work each day. You better be secure online. The last thing you want is your credit or debit card being compromised, the hacksters out there leaking your information out, and now you have to deal with this monster headache. Just avoid that altogether when you start your free trial today. Aura.com/chatsports. I put the link for everyone in the comments and the description. Start it today, and you won't ever thank me because you'll never have an issue pop up with Aura, right? They're the hidden guard for you guys online. Start today, Aura.com/chatsports. Back to the Eric Fisher conversation. We know he's not what he used to be. The ruptured Achilles in the AFC Championship game in 2020, unfortunately, at that age, it's tough to bounce back from when you're post-30. Last year for the Colts, I think he probably exceeded some people's expectations. 46 overall best tackle, according to PFF. Not too shabby, if you ask me. Sure, the sacks and the penalties jumped up from what he did in his last season in KC, but I would take that for what you're working with right now. Listen, the only way I actually really see an Eric Fisher signing happening is if Billy Turner's knee injury is not progressing well. He didn't play at all, practice at all in OTAs and minicamp, and that's fine because it's OTAs and minicamp, okay? It's non-padded practices in June. But what if August rolls around and they're like, "Hi, Billy, how's it going?" It's like, knee still hurts. And don't forget, that's what led to him being released from the Packers, a failed physical. And if training camp turns into preseason, and now we're getting close to regular season, maybe then they go, you know what, let's bring Fisher in, see if he is in shape or not. And we might have to move him over to right tackle because even though he's a left tackle, that's an important note here. He's never been a right tackle, so it would be very different. It is like doing everything lefty if you are right-handed or vice versa. But if you compare the two guys head-to-head from what they did last season, Turner versus Fisher, they're not very far apart. You can make arguments for either side maybe being a better tackle, right? In terms of sacks and penalties, the edge goes to Turner, but according to the nerds at PFF, Fisher was technically 4 spots better than Billy Turner. So that would be an interesting name to keep an eye on if Turner's health is not improving as we get closer to week 1. We're going to keep it with the Hogs up front. What about J.C. Tretter? What about one of the best centers in football that is still a free agent? Now, I should say, I'm still a believer in Lloyd Cushenberry. That's been one of my stances I've talked about before on the show. I think that we're going to see Belly, Quinn Miners take someone's spot in that interior offensive line. I don't think it'll be Cush. He's been very impressive so far, at least in Kahoot tests this offseason. But maybe you could bounce Cush out for J.C. Tretter. This one seems like a bit of a stretch, but when you were the 6th ranked best center in football last year from PFF, you got to be talked about, right? And it's a little bit of a head scratcher, if you ask me, that he's still available. Now, he is the NFLPA president. There are some murmurs out there that when you are the NFLPA president, the owner and the GM doesn't really like you, so they don't want to bring you on into their locker room and start filling ideas with the rest of the bunch that the players should be making more money and the owner should be making less. Maybe that's something that was trickled down, although Broncos just got a new owner, and I really doubt the first thing Walmart, Rob Walton said was, no J.C. Tretter. That just doesn't seem to make sense to me. But that would be an interesting name to keep an eye on for because he was awesome for the Browns last year. He's had an awesome career. He's probably going to be a Hall of Fame center. How is he still on the market? I don't know, Jim. We got more free agents to check out in just a second, but we have a race to 10,000 subscribers with our Saints channel here at Chat Sports. We've got a bit of a lead on them, but they are making some ground up. Let's leave them in the dust. Hit that big red button, subscribe if you want free Broncos content or if you're just competitive like me and you love the Broncos. 4th free agent target is going to be A.J. Johnson, Alexander Johnson, whatever you call him. Familiar name, right? He spent his entire career so far with the Broncos. I have very low confidence on the inside linebacker room so far. This has been another talking point I've made so far. And again, it's really hard to get a good takeaway from just off-season workouts. But raise your hand if you're ready to die on the sword of Alex Singleton, Josie Jewell, and Jonas Griffith are going to hold down the fort on that interior linebacker position. Me, not so much. In fact, Singleton was a special teams guy for the most part in Philly. He's seen a lot of improvement that maybe he could take this leap forward. Josie Jewell's coming off a pec injury. Now, A.J. Johnson is also coming off an injury. But what he's done so far in his career, I mean, he was a 2-year starter for the Broncos, 2019, 2020, starting basically the entire season. Last year, cut short after 6 games. But he looked great to me. The only issue with A.J. Johnson, and it's something that is a little unfortunate, is the age combination, okay? He just got off his rookie contract, and he's already 30 years old. So I'm guessing George Paton is going, you're over 30, you're coming off an injury last season. Maybe it's not the best that we bring you in. That would be maybe something I could be seeing the train of thought process for Paton, why he doesn't want to bring Alexander Johnson back. All right, the other day I said, name a random Broncos running back, and you guys showed up. So let's open it up now to the entire defense. Name a random Broncos defensive player has to be random. You cannot say Von Miller. That is not random. You can't say Champ Bailey. I need more random than that. The more random, the better. Fifth and final free agent target is Trey Flowers. He was not good with the Lions. He got a big contract after some good years with the Patriots, and it turned out to be a bust. But I'm guessing there is a lot of hope and belief in this pass rush, which, let's call a spade a spade. Together, we've never seen it happen. Meaning, we haven't seen Bradley Chubb be the 12.5 sack guy he was since his rookie season. You haven't seen Randy Gregory play all 16 games, or now 17 games. Draymond Jones, 5.5 sacks last year. You saw a lot of great moments and glimpses and a lot of belief that he can continue that on. You don't have Von Miller anymore. And then on the other side of the defensive line, you got a battle between Ajim, a third-round pick out of Arkansas back in 2020, and then one of the best journeyman stories. If you don't know it, go to Wikipedia. Deshaun Williams was with the Calgary Stampeders 2 years ago, and now here he is in the NFL, starting half of the season last year for the Broncos. 15 games, 8 starts, if memory serves me correct. That's going to be your battle for opposite Draymond Jones, right? I'm envisioning the defensive line will look like Williams, DJ Jones, and Draymond Jones. So could you see maybe Trey Flowers make a case to join that starting rake and tap out one of these two guys here, a little duck-duck-goose action? Because we have seen great years, not just games or moments or flashes from Trey Flowers. But go back to his time in 2018. That's when he was the Patriots, okay? 7.5 sacks in 15 games. The Lions love him. They give him this big contract. Doesn't work out. Can't stay healthy. Just 14 total games over the last 2 seasons. And I can do the math right now in my head because I'm very smart. 3.5 sacks the last 2 years combined. They aren't pretty numbers. But if there's some belief that maybe if he gets healthy, you can get back to those 7.5 sack seasons, and that would be an improvement on what you're seeing right now between Williams or Ajim. So if you had to pick one of the 5 players we talked about today to sign, who would it be? Cam Newton for the starting backup role, Eric Fisher to maybe move to the right tackle position for the first time in his career, J.C. Tretter to bounce Cush, A.J. Johnson to reunite himself and Josie Jewell at that inside linebacker position, or Trey Flowers to set up shop on the defensive line? Let me know down below in the comment section. If you've made it this point in the video, chances are we're doing something right. So if you haven't subscribed already, please make sure you go ahead and do so. Hit that thumbs up icon. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Cheers to you guys, and I'll see you later with more Broncos news and rumors.